ॐ तत्परं पर्याय विद्महे ज्ञानलिङ्गेश्वराय धीमहि तन्नो गुरुः प्रचोदयाते। ॐ योग महर्षि डॉक्टर स्वामी गीतानंदगिरी गुरु महाराज की जय। पुदुवै कलैमामणि पुदुवै शक्ति योगचारिणी अम्माजी मीनाक्षी देवी भवनानी गुरु माता की जय। ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। Namaste, Vanakkam, and Swagatam to everyone. Thank you for joining us today, and it's very nice to be here with all of you. And we also have a lovely panel here, and we all are here dedicating this to Param Pujya Ammaji, Puduvai Kalaimamani, Puduvai Shakti, Yogacharini, Meenakshi Devi Bhavanani. So first of all, before we begin, we would like to thank the Indian Yoga Association for giving us this wonderful opportunity to celebrate a wonderful Shakti who is none other than our beloved Ammaji. So before we begin, I'll invite our lovely panelists today to give a nice short self-introduction about them. So I would like to welcome dear Kalavati.
Namaste, I'm Yoga Tilakam Kalavati Devi. I trained 24 years ago and was one of the students largely taught by Ammaji in the ashram. I live in Wales. I run Om Studio in Cardiff and run regular trips back to the ashram, taking people out with me when I go.
Thank you very much, Kalavati. Nice to have you here. And next, welcoming dear Deepika.
Namaste, thank you. I'm Deepika and I'm founder of Yoga Satsanga Ashram here in Wales, UK. And I'm also the lead pranayama trainer for the tradition, and I run courses with Dr. Ananda, taking students to India or coming here for the training and online. So happy to be here, thank you.
Thank you very much, Deepika, and thank you for joining us. It's very special. Next, welcoming dear Devasena Miss to tonight's event.
I'm Devasena Bhavanani. I'm studying with Ammaji and Swamaji from my 8th standard, from my school days. And of course, 4 decades I'm with them and still learning. And of course, I had the great fortune to to learn under the great legends and the great gurus, great masters, Ammaji and Swamaji. And of course, I had the great fortune again to learn yoga, dance, music, singing, chanting, Sanskritam, of course, everything, the language, even English language, even. So everything, in Anand Ashram. So I'm really fortunate and grateful for them. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for gracing us. And next, welcoming dear Meena ma'am to the panel.
Namaste. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity, Divya, and IYA also. I have known Ammaji since 25 years, I think, and she has given me a new life, completely turned me into yoga. And whatever I am today, I think I owe to Ammaji and Ananda sir, of course. I currently work under Ananda sir at the School of Yoga Therapy as the vice principal, which is like at Sri Balaji Vidyapit. So thank you.
Thank you for joining us, ma'am. And next, last but not the least, inviting dear Sangeeta.
Thank you, Divya. Namaste, everyone. My name is Sangeeta, and I am connecting with you all from Italy. And I got in touch with this parampara in about 15 years ago. And ever since, I have been going back and forth from Italy and the US to the ashram. Over the last few years, with the blessings of Swamiji, Ammaji, Dr. Sir, and the Bhavanani family, I have deepened my connection with the teachings of Nadi Yoga in this parampara. And this happened through the great pleasure of hearing Dr. Nanda and Devasena and you, Divya Priya, sing and play music. And so now I offer with Dr. Nanda courses in Nad Yoga online and at the ashram. And I'm also a guest faculty at the School of Music Therapy at the ISCM. Thank you. I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you, Sangeeta. And once again, I would like to thank all of you for taking out your time and, giving us your precious time to be with us on this day and to celebrate dear Ammaji. And I think it's really nice that she has thousands of students, but I think it's a good start with us. And yeah, we'll go into our discussion today. And before that, I would like to thank the ICYR at Ananda Ashram for giving me this opportunity to moderate this panel. And I'm Bhavanani, and yeah, I think I'll go ahead with that. So first of all, you have known Parampuja Ammaji for many decades. How would you describe your relationship with her? So this question is for each one of you. I think we'll begin with Kalavati.
The relationship that I feel I have with Ammaji is very much a mother-daughter relationship. One of the things for me is Ammaji's voice. Ammaji's voice triggers like a parasympathetic response in me. It just soothes you in the way that I imagine a mother's voice soothes a baby. And she always teaches us as well with stories. So you have that, mother telling her child stories as well. But I definitely feel that we have this mother-daughter type bond. Even my mother knows that I have this other mother. My maternal mother knows I have a spiritual yoga mother. And yeah, it's a very strong bond and a deep love that is there.
Thank you for giving your wonderful sharing, Kalavati. Next, I would like to invite Meena ma'am to give her answer.
I think I would agree with Kalavati with the same thing. As we call her Ammaji, she's always been that Ammaji who has never given birth to me, but she gave me a rebirth. So I would definitely consider her. It is not just one dimension that she interacts with us, like usually. There are so many other dimensions to her. She's a friend at times. She's a philosopher at times. She's a guide. She's a mentor. She's a guru. The best teacher, I would say, along with Ananda sir. So many, I cannot just give one word to describe the relationship, like 25 years, such rich experiences with her, moments with her that mostly I would say like Kalavati, a mother to me. Yeah.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Next, I would like to invite dear Deepika to give her answer.
Thank you. I mean, definitely there's the mother side, but I think probably for me, most of all, Ammaji is like a spiritual guide, because she would say things very direct to me, and sometimes the things you just don't want to hear, which probably my mother would not say to me, my actual mother. So yeah, I think she's kind of like that person who just grabs my hand and pulls me up out of the sort of samsaric mud that we get stuck in. So yeah, spiritual guide, I think, for me. Thank you.
It's really nice to to hear all of your sharings here. But yes, we'll move on to dear Sangeeta.
Definitely Ammaji revealed her powers to me at the ashram as a spiritual guide, a guru, really a guru. And also as a poet and as an intellectual. I remember editing with her the books, History of Yoga and other books. I was really blessed that she invited me to do that. and learned so much from her about the quality of a very focused and poetic spirit of inquiry. So she has been a teacher for me as a writer, as an intellectual, as a scholar, and definitely as a guru with her strong discipline that is also relaxed. So she truly embodies the teachings at an intellectual level that for me has always been very satisfying and has helped me grow also as an academic as well as a person, of course.
Thank you, Sangeeta. And finally, going to Devi.
Yes, I need to tell, as others said, most of them feel Ammaji is Amma for everyone. She taught thousands of people. So everyone calls, even though tiny ones comes to the class, she'll be calling Amma like that, very in the loudly voice. So she was Amma for everyone. Of course, sometime with the senior girls when you are talking, so we don't know which Amma we are talking about. So they will identification yoga mom miss like that. So we are just because she was Amma for everyone. Of course, I have seen Ammaji because I started in 83, 84. So from that time, so as a teacher, guru, I mean, when I was doing the university master degree, she was helping me. Actually, my guide didn't do much actually, sorry to say, but Ammaji was totally doing everything, the thesis actually. So she started in that time, the history of yoga. Then she really had the volumes actually. In that, from that thesis only, she started actually. So like that, I have seen Ammaji. Of course, I feel like in the divine goddesses, when you see Durga, Lakshmi, Saraswati, Icha Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Jnana Shakti, as we say the Ganesha starting energy, because sometimes she need to give the kick for me to start. And of course, Saravana, the youth energy going on, and of course, Shiva energy change. So as I mean, the king Arjun saw Lord Krishna as a Vishwarupa. I have seen Ammaji also in the Vishwarupa also sometime as a Kali also sometimes to strong energy to change me. So I have seen Ammaji almost in all the energies, of course. So sometimes I need to say, I just really felt, Ammaji, I don't want to see your Vishwarupa or in the Kali form. I need to just see you as like a goddess Parvati, Lakshmi, as we always felt Ammaji like that, because I have seen Ammaji in all the form actually. So she's the great energy that Adi Shakti, she can be giving the energy to different energies to perform all the aspects. So that's what I felt really very strong energy, like a changer and move to do anything to anyone. So she can make that.
Thank you very much. And I think that from the audience side also, you would see what a miracle, a gift, and a wonderful source of inspiration and empowerment Ammaji has been to each and every one of us here. And thousands would agree with that. So with that wonderful takeaway from all of you, we would move on to the next question. What teaching or teachings of hers has become your way of life? So here I'll invite dear Deepika to begin.
Thank you. I think probably the Ammaji's passion about the Niyama Swadhyaya, the self-study, and something she always said, not to be afraid to see our conditioning. And I think that's something, my own journey that never ends, of just seeing all the time, what are we locked into? What is our conditioning? And trying to keep asking, like, why I'm thinking that, why I'm behaving like that, why I'm saying that. And it's something that I really tried to take on board, the sort of daily reflection, so that we can just keep evolving and getting out of that. So yeah, that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing her teaching with all of us. Next, I would like to invite dear Sangeeta.
Thank you. The teaching didn't come as an actual teaching, but it has proven to be a great teaching for me. And it's when we used to go in Swamiji's hut That's how we called it on Sunday nights at the ashram. Every Sunday night we would come up into Swamiji's hut at the ashram, and we would sit there and sing bhajans, and then Ammaji would join us, and we would invoke the Pranava Om at least 27 times. And it was different than when we practiced in pranayama, and it was different than when we practiced it through the all-night Om chanting. There was a level of intimacy because of her being the Dharma Patni of Swamiji and being in the hut where they shared a very specific moment of their life, very vulnerable, very intimate, very home-like, right? So it had less formality than the actual teachings. And just seeing Ammaji relaxing into this home space, in this vulnerable space, and the strength that gave her and us. So to see how being vulnerable, being open, and really making yoga a way of life in that moment truly opened up a space in my heart that was perhaps less formal, but definitely it has impacted me a lot. It's one of my fondest memories, as well as a really powerful practice of such an intimate practice together. So thank you for asking. It's always so happy. It's a happy memory for me. So it's really wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Sangeeta. Next, I invite Devsina Miss to give her favorite teaching.
As Deepika said, actually, Ammaji always mentioned the Swadhyaya a lot. And of course, I have seen Ammaji gone, and everything actually, she gone very deep in that actually. In the cultural side also, I have seen like some of the things I should know, but even the family background, sometimes I didn't even think some of the stuff actually. So she was just reminding me that things, that energy-wise, after doing this certain things, we should not be doing this. That even this things, I never, I mean, anyone mentioning or teaching or showing these things or telling. So in that way, the cultural side, because the cultural side, it's all are connected, all tied together, just to know the meaning more deeper. So she has gone really, not only, I mean, the culture side is very strong, and anything we take, the dance, yoga, music, and I was really amazed that the depth she have gone, really amazing.
I think that we all would agree in that, because you just had to, I think, mention one word or a phrase and she would have such a deep understanding. And she would also try to evoke that in us. So I think that's a very special quality of hers. I would like to welcome Kalavati.
Well, Ammaji was always teaching us. It didn't matter what she was doing, what she was saying, you know, teachings were always there. But one of the things that's really stood out for me is how she would always say that we should be cheerful. We should always, you know, be cheerful, be happy. How can we expect to be happy if we're not, you know, being happy? And, you know, if we're cheerful, then we can lift those around us as well. And, you know, there's a time when, you know, there are times when we can't be cheerful. So it's not like you're this crazy happy person all the time, but it's very important. And she embodied that. You know, she could be serious, she could be strict, she could be quiet, she could be Ammaji could be anything at any time, but her ability to have fun and, you know, to be cheerful, it was always there. And I always remember how when she'd be telling us stories, she'd often fuse in these funny stories into, you know, what she would be teaching us. And just at the moment before she'd tell us that funny bit, she would do this little giggle, and then she would tell us, and then she would laugh again. And she just had a fantastic ability to always have good cheer around her, you know, when she was in company.
So taking away Kalavati's answer here, to all of our dear audience out there and our dearest Ammaji's eaglets, as she would say, be always cheerful. And with that, inviting Meena ma'am.
At the first moment she, like looked at me, she just put her finger under my chin and lifted it up and said, "Chin up." So that has stayed with me throughout, like so far, because she used to say that chin up enhances your confidence. So because I used to be so low like this, not eye to eye contact when the first time I met her. So that has kind of stayed with me now. And the other thing, she always keeps telling Sumair, Ramana Maharshi's teaching, she always imbibes and she keeps telling. That has truly impacted me and my life, because only when we can be silent, we can listen, we'll be able to, understand what the others are trying to tell us. And one more one-liner again is, Oha, who am I? So keep asking that. So these three, I think I have kind of adapted and imbibed, and whenever I'm teaching, I take all these three to people, which has been really, really useful in fine-tuning my life. And I'm sure there are plenty who are, following these from Ammaji.
Thank you to all of you once again for sharing so many teachings. Just these few moments of listening to all of you has given me a travel back to all her classes. And another important point that I would like to stress out here is that the teachings from her didn't just come in class. It was just even being with her. Maybe she would take us on a fun trip or maybe to a temple trip, but there would be so much coming out of her there. So her teachings like literally came, you had to just be around her. And I think that has been the greatest blessing that we all have been given in this lifetime. Moving on to the next question. Param Pujya Ammaji used to make a lot of catchy one-liners and short quotes. Which of those has made the greatest impact in you and your life? So I would like to invite Sangeeta.
Yes. One-liners were really the salt of Ammaji's life. And she always has the perfect one for each situation. One of the ones that really stood out for me and was a process of swadhyaya for me and came with the mudra is sit straight, be quiet, and listen. And the first time I heard it, I couldn't do pretty much none of it. I couldn't sit straight, I couldn't be quiet, I couldn't listen, not at the depth that she was inviting us to do. So at first I really practiced. It was very impressive how she was able to teach this to very, very young kids and summon their attention through fun, through play. Only later, actually, when you asked us this question, I realized that this is also at the heart of the teachings of Nad Yoga, because the teachings of Nad Yoga really imply that we are able to sit straight, because a lot of the practices come from sitting quite a lot, and then to be quiet, to learn this real secret of anahatanad, quietude, and then to listen to inner sounds and outer sounds. So now I'm like, oh my goodness, she, in a one-liner, she gave me the gem of what then resonated with me with Nad. So I was like, wow. So thank you for asking this question again. It's really, really wonderful.
Thank you for reminding us of that wonderful short line quote by dear Ammaji. I would like to invite Dev Sinamis.
Yes. So always we remember Ammaji's many things actually, the classes she said. as Sangeeta mentioned, quite often different way comes out. And she was enjoying the kids when she was teaching in the summer, May intensive classes and all. So I used to really enjoy every class. She'll be bringing up with something concert, and every year even. So some days every class even. So, but most of the time we remember Ammaji means always regularity, repetition, and rhythm. The 3 R's always. So I'm trying my best to do that, because she will do whatever happens, whatever it is, whatever the things we need to face. But still, she'll be keeping that regularity, repetition, rhythm. Always the 3 R's she was giving really the importance. So yes.
Actually, these short liners really struck us deep in, right? Because especially in this world, I would say with the current generation and the upcoming ones as well, the attention span level is decreasing, and decreasing. So the best way to get the information, get the teaching out to the generations now, and also the ones that are yet to come, I think would be these wonderful short liners. So let's preserve them and keep them close to heart always. Next, I would like to invite dear Kalavati.
So another one of her one-liners was, do your best and leave the rest. And in this, she taught us that we're not perfect, and that in any given moment, what might be our best action or words might not be best in another scenario, but it was best in that particular time. So we can make our best better in future occasions, but to only ever do the best that we can in any given time. And she would often tell us as well that nothing's perfect on the earth. You know, if anything's perfect, then it goes up to God. So we should strive for perfection, but not always expect to attain it.
Thank you very much for that beautiful reminder. And I would like to invite dear Deepika.
Thank you. Yeah, so something that I thought about was how Ammaji talked how in Kali Yuga that we're in now, the most spiritually degenerate age, it's extraordinarily difficult to live a virtuous life. And something she said was that in this time, if you take one step toward the divine or toward God, then the divine will come running to you. And that really was quite inspiring for me. It's like we're in a time now where if you just make small effort, you'll get a big reward. Whereas if we were in Sat Yuga, we'd have to be sitting in meditation for hundreds of years to get to reap the benefits we can get now. So yeah, it's like making the small steps. Yeah, so that was inspiring for me. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Deepika. And next, finally inviting dear Meena ma'am.
The one-liners are really, impactful. Like, it is like a laser beam, hits you, and it's like fixed throughout, and you have to use it in your life, imbibe it. So, like I have always admired the way she interacts with children, especially during like the summer camps, the intensive camps that, she usually used to give for the kids in Pondicherry. So that would be, like she would give little tasks to the children to complete. And then, like one of the children came up and said, no, that's impossible, Amma. So, and immediately, like without thinking a moment, this line came up that impossible becomes I am possible. So anything that is impossible, you have to see to it that you work on it and make it possible. So that, the children really, they got truly attracted to it. And, they started singing it also. I'm sure, Divya, you would be able to remember because you were there in the class as a little kid that time, right? So that has really, been very catchy, and I have been stuck to it, since then. So
Thank you very much for reminding me of those golden days. And yes, let me try to recreate that for a few moments here. So the song would go like, impossible becomes I am possible only when we stop being animals and truly become human beings. Impossible becomes I am possible. Animals are bound by their conditioning. Animals are bound by their conditioning, but we have the freedom to choose our attitude every moment. But we have the freedom to choose our attitude every moment. Impossible becomes I am possible. I can't, I won't, I'm not able, says the animal. I can't, I won't, I'm not able, says the animal. I can, I will, I am able, says the human being. I can, I will, I am able, says the human being. Impossible becomes I am possible. I am possible. Thank you very much to all of you for reminding us all of these wonderful short liners, and they're very close to our heart, aren't they? And there are so many more, but yes, with those wonderful catchy liners in our head, let's move to the next question for all of you. What do you admire the most about Divine Ammaji, her satsangas, and her yogic way of life? So to begin this question, I invite dear Deepika.
Okay, yeah, I think Ammaji just had such an amazing, compassionate kind of heart. She had a real care for everyone. And, you know, seeing her behind the scenes at the ashram, it was like she had so much consideration for each and every person and really thinking and talking through what they needed. So it was just, that was really beautiful to see. And yeah, I was always amazed at how much information, knowledge, wisdom that she shared. It was like just a pure kind of divine downloading channel for all of us. So yeah, amazing. I mean, there's too much to say, but yeah, there's some input from me.
Thank you very much, Deepika. And moving on to Devi Miss.
Sorry. I admire Ammaji in every aspect, actually. So we say, like Purna Purusha Shivas. I mean, in everything, actually. Purnam. And with the just example with the dance, even I just take. When we teach the kids from the beginning, they learn the mudras. Okay, they learn the Kadakamuham, 2 variations, all the mudras. So when we are asking them to stand like a girl, goddess, so we ask them to use this mudra and bend nicely. So you are goddess Sita coming like that. Even though when we are talking, I mean teaching them with the kids. In the dance drama, they need to be like in the dance also, we need to really like a Satvika Bhava. We became that character. We have seen like a Dr. Sir, when he's teaching Maharshi Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, he understand totally, his teaching. So he became Patanjali, I feel sometimes. So like that, Ammaji, when she's talking with the kids, even simply she'll just ask the kids, girl to sit, and she'll be talking with them. So the next day, even though we have gone through the dance dramas practice more than 10 weeks, the last week, even when she comes and just talk with the girl, that's all. She'll be just talking with them, showing them little bit movement, and she will be the next practice itself. When she goes in after talking with Ammaji, when she come out, that girl will be exactly like Goddess Sita. That still, see, talking even Ammaji, I feel the goosebump actually. So she was that magic thing with her actually. So same way with the 6-month course, even I have seen, people will be crying and coming out, coming up to talk with Ammaji, going them again as, Kalavati, I think she was reminding of always Ammaji says, keep smiling. So they were going back with nice smiling face, pleasant, always keep smiling. So that giving them the total transformation. So that I have seen every class, with every person actually I have seen with Ammaji who are coming to learn with her, from tiny ones to the adults, all the age. So she's really the transformer, giving the change. Like Om Namah Shivaya. She's the Om Shakti, Adi Shakti, Parashakti. Dhanyavad.
Thank you, Devsina Miss. And it's so true. Ammaji had this personal magical touch that would, make what we would have thought as impossible into something that is possible. And we're like, how did it happen? But it happened. She made sure it manifested and it happened. Next, I would like to invite Kalavati.
Divya. One of the things, I admire so many things with Ammaji, but the one I've chosen to focus on is how she had this incredible ability to be comfortable in every situation. Didn't matter what situation was in. She had this amazing sukhastanam, this level of comfort, and she could fuse all different characteristics or attributes into seamlessly to work together. She had intelligence and courage and love, integrity, honesty. She was humble, and she could, and so much more than that, but she could bring all of this into the one place. And with this, she was able to move between anybody. She could be 1 minute talking to, somebody on the street. The next minute, she could be talking to the governor of Pondicherry. Didn't matter who it was. She was able to go in at every level, and nothing fazed her. She was always comfortable wherever she was, with whoever she was with. And she always held a grace and a certain poise and dignity, when she was able to do this. And, when she clearly vibrates energetically at a much higher level, than the likes of us. But she just had this ability to move anywhere and, be in comfort. I really admire that.
Thank you very much, Kalavati. And next, I would like to welcome dear Meena ma'am.
Like you were saying, Divya, she had a knack. Just by observing her, being with her, we used to learn a lot. Need not be like she's making us sit for an hour in a satsanga and learn. So by being with her, I have, truly absorbed and imbibed, the discipline. First thing she would say, yoga is discipline. So that, and the punctuality. When anything is happening, she would always be there before time to see that everything is, properly there, arranged, and everything is meticulously done. She would see to each and everything. So these have been, my pointers in life, that, the punctuality especially, and the humor, the way in which she, brings in those funny incidents and quotes. And, in Tamil, we would always say, Vazhapadathula oosi ettirudhu. Like in a funny way, she would give a story or a small thing, and then inject the concept into it. So a very practical way in which the difficult yogic concept could be made into practice in a very, very nice way. That would be, like in community college, I remember the way she used to tell, because the students there were not so, like they would always be very sleepy because they were physical education students. and they would be very tired. And she would always say, shake and wake, shake and wake, shake and wake. And it would really wake them up. And she would say, like, tapping this point, what it would do, and like how to make everything, bring it into your grip, and how can you make bring in the responsibility, being responsible. So there are so many other things also, but just a few I'm sharing.
Thank you very much. And finally, welcoming Sangeeta.
All of the above, for sure. But one of the things that I was really impressed by is that Ammaji is probably one of the busiest people I have met. She always had so many activities, so many people around her, so many thoughts, so many ideas. But I have never seen her rush, ever. Not in her walking, not in the way she spoke, not in the way she thought. She was never rushing. And it was very impressive how she embodied the teachings of creating a space between the stimulus and the response, not reacting, but choosing to act like a real humane being. And she totally embodied that. And she was not a person who had lots of spare time. So I was really impressed, and I didn't know how she managed, but I understood something very important from that her quality, there was a nobility in her. There was this noble capacity to hold energy, to hold space that she brought everywhere. Like some of us already shared, she could be at ease everywhere. And I think part of that is that she wasn't rushed by external stimuli. She was always able to hold this immense space around her, that we could, it's a pranamaya kosha, we could feel it. And what the last thing I want to say about it is that this is pretty magical. So she would walk, but we would run after her. And I don't know how that happened. Like she would just simply walk, but we would all rush. But we were going at the same speed. So I'm not sure how that happened. Even to this day, I'm like, what happened? So anyway, I still contemplate on that. And I use that a lot when I feel rushed. I remember Ammaji, and I'm trying to create that moment of breath, create that moment of viveka, right? That she taught us in that way. So
I think each and every one of you would just go on and on and on, right? Like this question isn't really fair. I felt like I gave you all multiple choice questions, close-ended questions. But okay, I think just from this, we can understand what a great woman she is. And her life story, for sure, it's like generations to come will for sure not believe that such a woman did exist in the times and in India as part of our wonderful yoga family, worldwide family. And with this, I think we'll go to a final question, which will be it's a little bit of fun, I think, because it's again going to be a very short answer from each and every one of you. So the toughest for all of you and the funnest for the audience. So the question goes as, so we are now finally coming to the end of this conversation. So I would like to ask each of you, how would you describe Parampujya Ammaji in a word or two? And yes, before inviting each of you, wishing you all the best because it is hard to summarize, this wonderful Shakti in a word or two. So I think we'll begin with Deepika.
I'm the lucky one. I would say she was very consciously evolved, awakened there.
Okay, that was fast. Next, Dev Sinamis.
I would say Kriya Shakti. Of course, in Siddha Bhumi, like she is also like one of the Siddhar.
Indeed, the living Siddha of Puducherry. Inviting Kalavati.
So I was trying to think of a word to describe Amma, and I just felt like words couldn't describe her. And it reminded me of how she would tell us that when we try and translate Sanskrit words, we never have enough words in the English language to translate them. So I gave up looking for an English word to describe Ammaji and started looking for a Sanskrit word to describe Ammaji. So I did have to use Google for this. But I have come up with a word, and I hope Devasena, it's the right word and I've got the right meaning and I say it correctly. But the word I've come up with is abhyadika, which kind of translates to extraordinary. Abhyadika.
Very nice. And yes, Sangeeta.
Shakti, incarnate, Wonder Woman, superpower.
That's 4.
Depends on how you spell them. If you write them all together as Stiram Sukham Masanam, it's only 1.
Okay, you got away. And finally, Meena ma'am, to conclude our conversation.
Again, not just one word, maybe a little, 3 words I have. She's a life giver. She's the epitome of love and, fountain of inspiration.
I think I would take this moment to, really applaud and thank all of you, because indeed Ammaji has done a lot. But to summarize, all of that and try to give, our audience the best from our side, so that each and every soul that has entered, this program of ours has taken away something useful for life. And I hope that we have contributed. And I think we would take this opportunity to wish you all in advance a very happy International Day of Yoga 2024. And it is the 10th year. So may we keep on doing our best, giving back to Mother Yoga, giving back to, so much, because we have been blessed in abundance, which is countless, it's unwavering, it's beyond it all. So thank you, everyone. And once again, thanking ICYR at Anandashram Pondicherry for giving us all this opportunity, and thanking our dear 5 Shaktis, 5 of you who have assembled here today and has given us so much, truly. Thank you for, giving your time, your energy, and your sharing. Beyond grateful. And yes, finally, thanking IYA, Indian Yoga Association, and truly from our side, we thank you for having such an initiative to celebrate the woman, the Shakti of yoga. And yes, it is truly living up to the theme, Yoga for Women Empowerment, for the 10th International Day of Yoga 2024. So I think we'll end with the Shanti Mantra. So inviting you all to join in. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Sarve Janaha Sukhino Bhavantu Om Shantihi 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 Om. Jai 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 Ammaji, and long live Mother Yoga. Thank you.
Thank you, Devi.